In this video I'm going to go over how I would go about finding items to craft for profit, but it's not necessarily going to be a beginner friendly video. You still need to know a bit about crafting, profit crafting in general. You still need to do some math to go on Path of Exile and figure some things out on your own. But this is how I would go about finding some items to craft for profit. So if you need inspiration, just go to PoE Ninja, go to builds, softcore, and here what you want to do, you want to craft for a specific build, for a specific skill. What you can do, you can select the most popular ones, but not necessarily. You can select, for example, a spell, and you craft for a niche market. But for this video, I'm just going to go on a meta skill, such as Righteous Fire, and I'm going to show you how I would craft for this build. You can see on the left side that 97% of them are using rare gloves. This is very important because rare gloves, you can craft them. Also rare helmet and rare jewels. So maybe I would look into this. Definitely I would not craft the body armor because 81% of them are using this unique. So it's there's no point in crafting a rare body armor for this build. But what I could do, craft gloves for this build, because you can see it's very popular. The most popular bases, you can see that are the ones with high armor. That means stay away from these low armor bases, ignore them completely. Just focus on these 2, maybe 3 bases. And when you scroll down, you'll see at gloves mods, the most important one is maximum life. So I would assume that you want tier 1 or tier 2 maximum life, very important on your build. And now, when you select maximum life, it will next will show you what other modifiers go with maximum life. So if a player has maximum life on their gloves, 72% of them also want chaos resistance. Ignites, you inflict spread. This is an implicit, so I'm going to ignore it because it's not a prefix or a suffix, it's just an implicit, so I'm going to ignore it. And this is a crafted modifier. You can see that they are looking for chaos resistance, increased life regeneration rate, or dexterity. Now what I want to double check is that if there are mods that go together. If I select chaos res, you can see that they're still looking for dexterity or increased life regeneration rate and a resistance, a fire resistance. If you scroll down, you'll see that they don't really care about armor. They care a bit, but not as much as, it's not as important as fire resistance, dexterity, or life regeneration rate. And also you'll see that they don't really care about cold resistance or strength or fire and chaos, cold and chaos resistances like that. They don't care about those. And they also don't care about lightning resistance. However, keep in mind you can always change a resistance to fire from the harvest, and it's important when you're crafting for profit that you do this. Because I'm gonna be honest, there are people who just genuinely don't know that they can change resistances here, and they will not buy a pair of gloves because it has fire resistance, it has cold resistance instead of fire resistance. I know it's cringe, but trust me, there are many people who genuinely don't know about this, and you will miss on those customers. And I don't know, it's like 10 chaos or so. Now, if you select dexterity, let's see what other modifiers go with dexterity. So if your item has maximum life, chaos resistance, and dexterity, they are also looking for, this is an implicit as well, so this is a crafted mod. They are looking for fire resistance and or life regeneration rate. These are the other suffixes that they care about, fire resistance or life regeneration rate. If we select, for example, fire resistance, you can see that fire resistance goes well with dexterity and life regeneration rate. These are crafted prefix. These are crafted prefixes, and this is an implicit. If we select instead life regeneration rate, you can see that it goes with dexterity, fire resistance, perhaps increased armor. So you get the idea. You will have a pair of gloves that needs to, let's just say, have 300 armor or so, because these bases with 20 quality on them will have like 300 quality, give or take. And they want life, the most important modifier, life. So I'll put here like 120 life because I think this is tier 1. And they also want chaos res. These are the most important mods. And then secondary, what they want, all those 3 modifiers together, total elemental resistances, because as I said, you can change them at harvest. Let's just say 45, it's a good roll. Life regeneration. Regeneration rate, it's 20 for tier 1, and dexterity. So you can see that these gloves, this pair of gloves, probably I should buy it and flip it, but I'm not going to do that. 4 divines here definitely will sell for much more. This guy just doesn't know. You can see that these go for like 6 divines, the cheapest, and the cheapest would be with resistance and dexterity and chaos. These are cheap. And also what's important, you look at when they are listed, because if they are listed for like 5 days ago and they are one of the first listed here, they appear at the top and they are listed like 5 days ago, 3 days ago, it's a bad sign because they don't really sell fast. But you can see at these gloves, most of them are listed for a few hours or perhaps 1 day. This doesn't have an empty prefix, and this as well doesn't have an empty prefix, so this is probably why they don't sell. Now if we check, for example, total elemental resistances with life regeneration rate, see how expensive these are. These are a bit more expensive. If we check life regeneration with dexterity, you can see that these are even more expensive. And look when they are listed. There's this one at 15 divines, listed 2 days ago, so probably this is, people will not pay 15 divines for such a pair of gloves. Perhaps somewhere in the range of 10 to 12 divines would be appropriate for a pair of gloves like this. So yeah, this is a pair of gloves that you can craft. You go to Path of Exile, figure out the crafting process on your own, and then craft a few items, experiment, test the market and experiment, see if it works or not. This is how I would go about finding items for crafting. I'm going to give another example. Let's just select a different spell. Let's just say Kinetic Blast. Here at the top you can see that they want wands, gloves, rings, boots, body armors, plenty of items you can craft for this build. I'm just going to select the rings, for example. And what you can see here, the bases, they want 2-stone ring or amethyst ring, but I think any resistance ring would work here. Topaz, ruby, sapphire, they would all work because they care about resistances. Amethyst ring is definitely better, but it's probably much harder to craft because you generally, when you craft these items, you generally start on a fractured base. So amethyst ring bases are much harder to obtain. So what you can see here at the top, the most important stat is maximum life, right? Select maximum life. So I'm assuming they want a ring with tier 1 or tier 2 maximum life. And then these are the stats that they also want. A high priority is this non-channeling. So you need to craft a ring that has an empty prefix where you can craft non-channeling. And if we select this, you can see that most of them want chaos res, but chaos res is a bit difficult to obtain. For profit crafting, it's perhaps difficult, but you can see that they also want fire res, cold res, lightning res. This is very important. Added lightning damage to attacks, because this modifier you can guarantee it with an essence. On rings you cannot guarantee chaos res, fire res or cold res. It would be too difficult, too expensive to craft. However, this modifier you can definitely guarantee it with an essence. So if we select this, you can see a ring that has non-channeling, maximum life and added lightning damage to attacks. What they are looking for is chaos, either chaos resistance, fire resistance, cold resistance, lightning resistance, intelligence, or to all elemental resistances, and to a lesser extent, strength or dexterity. So when you are spamming these rings, you probably want to start on a fractured ring with tier 1 maximum life, because it's very difficult to obtain maximum life, because this is a prefix. So you want to start on a ring with fractured tier 1 or tier 2 maximum life, spam these essences, and you're looking for an empty prefix and some resistances. Now let's look at such a ring. I think it was like the 35 or 37 for tier 1 of this essence. Total elemental. Let's just say 80, then non-channeling, and maximum life of, I guess it was 100 for tier 1 on rings. And you can see that a ring that has these mods goes for at least one divine. There are a few of them listed for 1 day ago, 2 days ago, and you can see that for 2 divines they don't sell with just these stats because the resistances are too low. So perhaps they are looking for more resistances on their suffixes. Let's just say, let's just check one with perhaps 120 total elemental resistances, and you can see that these are very expensive and it's not really that difficult to craft. Elemental damage modifiers. Was it 34 for the suffix mod? Anyway, you can see that these rings, they have quite high price and they tend to sell. There's this one that's listed for 10 divines 4 days ago, but I'm pretty sure if you lower the price, it will sell very fast. Like, it doesn't even have much. It only has resistances and cold and maximum life. So what I would do, buy a ring like this, fractured, spam lightning damage to attacks until I would get like tier 1, tier 2 resistance. Then I would slam for a chance to get a second resistance, and then I would craft non-channeling spells. Non-channeling skills have -7 mana cost. Perhaps apply prismatic catalyst, but I'm not sure. But this is a ring that you can sell. Now this one also has strength. But let's just look at one that also has intelligence. So intelligence. I mean, this is it's weird. You can see these rings. Maybe they're not going to pay 80 divines for a ring. This is a bit crazy, but you can see that there's a market for these rings. Now let's go over a different example. Again, I don't explain the crafting method. You have to figure that on your own. I'm just showing you how to find items to craft. Let's just say kinetic blast of clustering. Let's see what they have here. So rare body armor, you can look at this, you can look at gloves, you can look at wand, for example. Rare shield. I mean, even look at the wand if you want. You can see that they're using kinetic wands, most of them. and they want maximum mana. So what I did here for this build, I figured out that they really want maximum mana or increased attack speed. So I've posted that video with fracturing for these modifiers. You can also use this in case you're thinking about fracturing items for profit, because that's also a great method. But you can see that they're looking for maximum mana, the most important stat. Select maximum mana, and you can see that maximum mana also goes well with increased critical strike chance. If we select this, it also goes well with increased spell damage, and then it also goes well with attack speed and global critical strike multiplier, and this is your wand. And now you would go about how you can craft that wand. You check on Path of Exile, see on the trade website, and then do the math yourself. And yeah, that's basically how you find items to craft for profit.